Hey everyone, I'm so excited to welcome you to today's explainer. If you've ever stared at a tiny balcony, a bare patio, or literally just an empty corner of your apartment and thought, man, I wish I could grow my own food there. Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're bringing you a complete step-by-step masterclass on growing Malabar spinach right at home. And honestly, the absolute best part about this, you don't need a massive backyard or even a traditional garden to pull this off.
I want you to just picture this for a second. You walk out onto your balcony, snip off some vibrant, lush green leaves, and bring them straight into your kitchen for dinner. Sounds like a dream, right? But wanting an endless supply of fresh greens without a garden is totally doable. It literally just takes a simple styrofoam box and a little bit of know-how. By the end of our time together today, you're going to be fully equipped to grow your own safe, pesticide-free Malabar spinach, taking it all the way from a foam box to your harvest basket.
Okay, let's quickly look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Why Malabar spinach? 2. Container prep. 3. Soil versus hydroponics. 4. Perfect care. And finally, 5. Harvesting. Let's jump straight into part 1. Why Malabar spinach? It really is the perfect urban crop.
Simply put, this plant is incredibly forgiving. It's actually known as one of the easiest crops to grow because, well, it practically wants to thrive. You're not sitting around waiting for months either. You can actually start harvesting in just 25 to 30 days. Plus, the more you harvest, the more it yields. It's a total win-win. Nutritionally, it's an absolute powerhouse. We're talking packed with vitamins A and C, calcium and iron. Oh, and it contains this really unique stuff called mucilage, which is absolutely fantastic for healthy digestion and kind of helps cool your body down. Now, here's where we get to bust a massive gardening myth. A lot of folks will tell you that these seeds absolutely must be soaked in warm water first. Actually, scratch that. If you grab high-quality F1 hybrid seeds, which are just naturally crossbred to give you the best, most resilient traits, you can completely skip that tedious soaking process. These modern seeds are optimized so they can go directly into your growing medium with a near 100% germination rate. It saves a ton of time and gets your mini farm started right away.
All right, moving right along to part 2, container prep. Let's talk about the humble styrofoam box.
So, 30. That is your magic number here. Your styrofoam box absolutely needs to be at least 30 to 40 centimeters deep. Why does that specific number matter so much? Because Malabar spinach has a root system that really needs some room to stretch out and soak up those nutrients. A shallow box? That's going to stunt your plant, but 30 centimeters gives it the perfect amount of depth. Just keep in mind, if you're growing in soil, you have got to poke drainage holes in the bottom of that box. We definitely don't want those roots drowning in sitting water.
Which brings us to part 3, soil versus hydroponics. Time to choose your path. So, you've got two great options here. On one side, we have the traditional soil method. This one requires a nice, rich soil mixture, daily watering, and a little bit of weeding. It is absolutely perfect if you love getting your hands a little dirty and feeling connected to the earth. On the flip side, we have the hydroponic method. Now, this uses water enriched with a nutrient solution instead of soil. You'll need little net pots to hold the plants, and you have to aerate the water regularly. But the huge perk is you generally deal with way fewer soil-borne pests. It's just a very clean, super modern way to grow. Let's say you decide to go down the soil route. You can't just scoop up any random dirt from the yard. For a styrofoam box, you need a mix that holds moisture but still drains really well. This exact ratio right here is your golden ticket. 60% standard garden soil, 20% organic fertilizer, like aged manure or vermicompost to really feed the plant, 10% ash or rice husks for that crucial drainage, and 10% cocoa coir to keep the whole thing nice and fluffy. That mix creates a nutrient-dense little paradise for your seeds.
So, how do we actually put those seeds in the dirt? It's super simple. First, give the soil a gentle misting so it's moist but definitely not muddy. Second, you're going to make very shallow trenches, literally only about 1 centimeter deep. Third, and this answers a really common question about spacing, drop your seeds in exactly 2 to 3 centimeters apart. They need their personal space so they don't fight each other for nutrients. Finally, just gently cover them up with half a centimeter to a centimeter of soil and give them one more light misting. Keep that moisture up and you're going to see sprouts popping up in just 3 to 5 days. But hey, what if you chose the hydroponic path? Well, your setup is a bit different. For starters, you're actually going to keep the lid on your styrofoam box. First, drill holes in the lid that perfectly fit your small plastic net pots. Second, place your sprouted seeds right into those pots, using a small growing medium, like a cocoa pellet. Third, fill the box with water and an organic nutrient solution until the water just barely kisses the bottom of the pots. A lot of people use SW95 Plus for this, and it's great because it provides a perfectly safe, balanced mix of minerals designed specifically for leafy greens. Finally, and please don't forget this part, every 2 to 3 days you have to open that lid and literally just stir the water. Your plants need oxygen down at the roots, and stirring is how you manually aerate it.
All right, part 4, perfect care. Let's talk about nurturing those greens.
Let's run through some rapid-fire daily care notes. If you're growing in soil and the weather is hot, water them twice a day, early morning and late evening so those leaves don't wilt. Next up is my absolute favorite secret for massive yields. Malabar spinach is actually a climbing vine, so when your plants hit about 20 centimeters tall, you need to build a simple trellis or string up some netting. Giving them a place to climb keeps them off the dirt and triggers explosive leaf growth. Also, pluck off any yellowing leaves right away to stop disease. And what about handling pests at home? Keep it simple and 100% natural. If you see a worm or a caterpillar, just pick it off manually. Boom, no pesticides needed.
For the soil growers out there, do yourself a favor and take a mental screenshot of this fertilizer schedule. Because Malabar spinach grows so fast, it gets really hungry. You already mixed in your base organic fertilizer before planting, right? But the real magic happens with the boosts. Around day 7 to 10, when the true leaves show up, give it a light NPK boost, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, to drive that structural growth. Now, if you're using an organic liquid fertilizer, like worm casting extract, you have to dilute it properly. Use exactly a 1:50 ratio. That's 1 part fertilizer to 50 parts water, so you don't burn the roots. Then, around day 20 to 25, hit it with a potassium boost. That's what ensures those leaves grow thick, wide, and that gorgeous deep dark green color.
And finally, part 5, harvesting. Definitely the most rewarding part of the whole process.
Remember how we said this plant grows incredibly fast? Well, it really is just 25 to 30 days from putting that seed in the box to your very first harvest. If you set up a trellis and fed it right, by this point, your Malabar spinach is going to be about 35 centimeters tall, and those leaves will be plump and completely ready to eat.
But hold on, pay super close attention to this pro tip right here. The absolute biggest mistake beginners make is pulling the entire plant out of the soil by the roots. Do not uproot the whole plant. Instead, grab a sharp pair of scissors and cut the main stem about 5 to 7 centimeters above the base. Make sure you leave a couple of those lower leaves still attached. When you do this, the plant will actually push out brand new branches from those lower nodes, meaning you get continuous, fresh harvests from that exact same plant all season long. It's like magic.
So we've broken down the setup, the care, and that awesome continuous harvest trick. I want to leave you with this thought. If all it takes is literally one Styrofoam box to grow your own healthy, pesticide-free food, how many empty corners of your home are actually hidden gardens just waiting to happen? So, which method are you going to pick to start this weekend? Grab a box, choose your path, and start growing. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy gardening.